You wander into a pawn shop to browse. Guitars on the wall, watches under glass, a shelf of drills. It looks like a second-hand store. It isn't. You're standing inside a bank, and every object on display is a loan that died. The failures. Roughly 85% of what comes through that door never reaches these shelves. They go home to their owners, and the shop was counting on it. The myth says pawn shops buy stuff cheap from desperate people and resell it at a markup, a vulture with a cash drawer. So watch an actual transaction. A man walks in with his guitar. The broker looks it over and offers $150, but listen to the words. He isn't buying. He's offering a loan of $150, with the guitar staying behind as collateral. Cash in 2 minutes, no credit check, no pay stub, no application. The guitar is the credit check. He gets a ticket with a date. Come back by then. Repay the loan plus the fee, and the guitar goes home with him. And that's where the number comes from. The pawn industry's own trade association puts redemption at about 85%. Most pawned guitars, rings, and drills are reclaimed by their owners. The pawnbroker doesn't want your guitar. He wants the fee, and he wants you back next time you're short. A regular who pawns the same watch every few months is the shop's best customer. It's a relationship, practically a subscription. So the shop you thought you walked into is actually the failure pile. Every guitar on that wall is one of the 15%, a loan whose owner never returned. The shelf isn't the business. It's the write-off department, slowly selling the collateral of defaults. The real business happens at the counter in the back. Small-scale banking, high volume. The average U.S. pawn loan is only about $150. Now the uncomfortable arithmetic, because this bank isn't cheap. Pawn fees are capped state by state, and they're quoted by the month, not the year, which is the whole trick of reading them. Florida caps the charge at 25% of the amount financed per 30-day period. 12 of those is 300% a year, and Florida makes the shop print that annual figure on the ticket in a box labeled annual percentage rate. The state isn't hiding the arithmetic. It's requiring it. And yet, hold the outrage for one beat, because this machine has a feature no bank offers, and in Florida it isn't a courtesy, it's the statute. A pawnbroker has, quote, no recourse against a pledger for payment except the pledged goods themselves. If the man never returns, the shop keeps the guitar and the debt ends. No collections calls. No lawsuit. The law forbids one. No credit score crater. The downside was capped in cash terms the moment he handed the guitar across the counter. It's brutally expensive credit with a built-in ejector seat, and for someone with no bank, no slack, and one guitar, it's often the only machine in town that will even talk to them. The obvious question, why borrow $150 against a guitar worth $400 instead of selling it? Because the man is betting on his own next paycheck, and because the guitar is his. Selling is final. Pawning is a pause. The broker lends only a fraction of resale value, so even the failure pile pays for itself. Every object here was appraised twice. Once as collateral, once as merchandise, and the gap between those numbers is the shop's armor. There's one more rhythm at that counter, the machine's quiet engine. The renewal. The ticket comes due. The man can't clear the full $150, so he pays just the month's fee, and the clock resets. Pay the fee, keep the guitar in hock, roll the loan forward. Do that 4 or 5 times, and he's paid more in fees than the loan was worth, still owes the original $150, and the guitar still sleeps in the back room. Pawnbrokers don't force this loop. They don't have to. It emerges wherever a small loan meets a tight month. Payday loans run the identical orbit minus the guitar. The ejector seat is always there. The loop is what keeps people from pulling it. And this shady corner shop is one of the oldest financial institutions humans have, with receipts. In 1462, a Franciscan friar talked the wealthy citizens of Perugia into funding a Monte di Pietà, a charitable pawnshop built to lend to the poor against pledged goods instead of leaving them to the loan sharks. Within a decade, there were about 40 more. Some never closed. Malta's opened in 1598 and still lends against gold and silver today, from a 16th century building in Valletta, inside the government's tax administration, at 5% a year. Hold that against Florida's 25% a month. Mexico's national pawnshop opened in 1775 and runs 300 branches. And the oldest bank still trading anywhere on earth, Monte dei Paschi di Siena, started in 1472 as exactly this. So the pawn counter isn't banking's embarrassing cousin. It's banking's ancestor, and the ancestor charges less than the descendant. The original secured loan, still running on the original hardware. An object, a handshake, a ticket. Look around the shop again. Guitars, watches, drills. You can read the room now. A wall of expired tickets, each one a story that didn't make it back by the date. The counter isn't buying stuff. It's underwriting neighbors, one object at a time. A pawn shop doesn't sell secondhand goods. It sells time, and keeps what time couldn't ransom. The thing you'd carry to that counter if you ever had to, what is it? Everyone owns exactly one answer. That object is your credit score in physical form. Next time, you carry $11,000 of honest cash into a bank, and before you reach the door, a report about you is being written for the federal government. There's a tripwire under that counter. That's next.